Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 243. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+, and also on the Facebook group, Dumb SEO Questions. With us tonight, we have Masataki Wasa. Masataki is webmaster of wasaweb.net. He is a Google top contributor in the AdSense community, and he can be found at wasaweb.net. Meher Bhagat is a social media queen and human resources dynamo from India, and she's getting married on the 11th or 14th of November this year. Congratulations.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but thank you.
Oh, was it supposed to be private? Have I blown it?
No, that's fine. That's really fine.
Look, you're very safe. Nobody ever watches these clips anyway.
It's fine, Tim. It's fine.
All right, Rob Mars is an AdWords aficionado. He's based in the Netherlands. Masataki is in the UK. Meher is in India. Rob is in the Netherlands. Rob is a Google top contributor on Webmaster and AdWords. Thank you, Rob. And you can find Rob at marketbiz.nl, marketbiz.nl. OnlineOwnership.com is Tim Kappa's company. He is also a Google top contributor on the Google My Business community. He is proud to call himself an SEO. He is a conversion rate optimization specialist. And William Rock, Tim is based in the UK, in Corby. And William Rock is based in Kansas. He is an SEO and also a Google top contributor on the Webmasters community. All right, our first question tonight is titled Google Analytics Real-Time Organic Click-Throughs. It's from Paddy Mantaloons. Oh, he said it's not a question, but there's no. Oh, good on you, Paddy. Okay, I must talk to Dan about some of the questions he loads here. That means we've gone back from 14 to 13. That's an unlucky number. All right, let's go to the next. Kath Dawson Courtney asks a question which I doubt we'll be able to answer, but let's hope so. She wants to know if anyone has used Supermetrics to pull data for creating dashboards. She's just about to embark on the process as it looks great, but I'm hoping for reassurance that your experience was good too. Any tips gratefully received? Anybody?
Oh, no, unfortunately, I haven't used it. I use, I create dashboards within analytics, but no, sorry, can't help from my side.
Thank you, Tim. I didn't think anyone was using this one. All right, our strike rate, we're currently 0 from 3. Let's see if we can improve. Mona Moore asked the question, mail preview for Google's mobile search results. She had a quick question. Do any of you know how to specify which image is used as a thumbnail preview for Google's mobile search results? I've seen lots of speculation, but nothing definitive. I wonder if anyone has figured this out yet. I've tried to reverse engineer what I've seen in the results, but the results aren't consistent though. For anyone not sure what I'm talking about, here is an article, and it gives it a URL which can be seen on the Facebook community, Dumb SEO Questions. It's a URL on SEOroundtable.com. Anybody know how to set the thumbnail?
Yeah. So yeah, use that in your structured data markup. I did an article on that a while back, but just bear in mind, Google doesn't always respect it, as usual. Just trying to think of what the article was. I'll tell you the. It's called Update Your Structured Data with Image and Price Range. So just search that, you'll find it, and then you can add the image in. The image also applies into, for example, if it's an organization. So that also works within that. But price range fits within if it's a local business. Oh, excuse me. If it's within a local business. So yeah, you can do it that way. And there's also, if you check the structured data testing tool, if you've added those incorrectly, it gives you a preview. When you click through, it shows you the mobile rich card preview.
Thank you, Tim. There's no end to your talent.
I do try.
We're currently batting 1 out of 4. Okay. Here's one from Jack Green. That's a very good question. What are the foundations of SEO on a website? Jack said, hey guys, just joined the group and just started out in SEO. I'm working on the rank and rent model. Great to meet you all. I have 2 questions that are very important. One, what are the foundations of SEO on a website, e.g. structure, internal links, etc.? The things that you guys always do. And 2, how do you then build up from that structure? A few things we can all do.
Well, SEMrush just basically launched a new study that they conducted on this, and it's a downloadable PDF. I'll grab that link in a little second. But it goes through a lot of the studies that they were conducting with their big data, understanding more or less those little factors of what works and what doesn't, and how some of the top ranking sites are doing what they're doing. I'll put the link in the show notes.
Sorry.
Okay, so if you're working on a rank and rent model, I'm assuming this is a local business because no national business is ever going to want to rent lead generation. So actually, funny enough, I have published this year's top local SEO ranking factors. They're based on, and you can actually, so it's online ownership for 2017. It's based on the massive study that Moz co-hosts and that Darren Shaw compiles. And they just asked tons of local SEOs out there. I think that this year they questioned, I think, 2,500, 3,000 people. So it's massive. And it goes through all the kind of general factors. So essentially, I'm assuming your local business, it's for local business. So you really want to get these down pat, completely nailed down, which would be the site structure, which would include the local area that it's meant to be based in, the service that is offered to customers in that area, and then of course content in and around those areas. So and then of course there's there's on top of it. But yeah, I mean, essentially start from the top. Once you've got your structure there, yeah, there's no perfect thing, because each design is going to have, each design or each layout of a site is going to be slightly different. It's not like we can say, okay, well, you want to have this link into this, it's, yeah, you can't kind of just say that, because everybody's going to design or create a site for what they believe is best for their user base, for their customers, and an ease of moving through it for the customer, depending on what service or product they provide or sell. So yeah, you need to get your you need to get your structure correct, your on page sorted out, and that's when that's essentially the easy stuff, and that's when you need to get out there and start marketing it.
Sorry about that. I muted myself again. Thank you, Tim. And is there anybody else that would like to add something to that? All right, let's move on. This one from Daniel Barbour, titled Inline CSS and SEO. He said, does this matter, or am I just being particular? He's referring to a line of text where the kerning is stretched right out. Yeah, look, I would jump in and probably save you guys the effort. I'd say that it doesn't matter. Of course, it's going to affect the user experience, but in that case, it would matter. Or maybe if I throw this open, does anyone want to make a comment on this?
I think going back to visual appealing, user experience, I don't think it's going to actually affect the ranking of that particular page in particular. But like you said, Jim, when the user is looking at that as the readability, I don't see a real big problem with it, but that might be something you might want to adjust with the kerning. But it does look kind of ugly. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure that ugliness is a problem. I mean, Tim Capper's never had an issue with it,
Well, if you want ugly, Amazon, that is shit ugly. I'm sorry to say, it's absolutely horrendous compared to modern day aesthetics of e-commerce sites. Amazon is crap, but look at the billions. Alibaba, oh my God, it's the worst thing you've ever done, but it's billions and billions every year. If you've got a user base and they like your product and they use it, ugly don't really matter. However, if you're starting out, to attract kind of customers who don't have, who have an expectation of you, like if you have a brand and you have an expectation, like I suppose, I don't know, Nike or Coca-Cola or whatever, they have an expectation of a certain aesthetic, then you probably wouldn't work. But when you have a brand where nobody's really bothered about the aesthetic or the expectation of it, they just want to get in, find it, get out, then it's not really a problem, I suppose. Yeah, some of the ugliest sites in the world make the most money.
Yeah.
Yep. We've got 14 of these to look at tonight. This one from Ted Rinshed. He said he wants to audit backlinks. He said, I want to audit the backlinks of this, which is www.aboutpainting.ca. What free SEO tool will do this? I'd like to get the same backlinks because it is on page 1 organically for every single page and keyword. Phenomenal. You want a case study for great SEO? Here it is. It's a very competitive trade in a city of over 1 million people.
What's the URL, Jim?
www.aboutpainting.ca.
About a painting.
No, it's just about painting.
So what was the question?
The question is that he wants a free tool which will audit the backlinks. I could only think of the, say, the trial version of SEMrush. Can you do a backlink audit using the trial version?
No, I'm not sure, but
There's tools out
there. Ahrefs does a limited. Moz that does a limited. I'm not entirely sure where he's seeing all these things. I mean, I'm only seeing it position 1 for a few kind of terms around Calgary, and because it's local, it's not necessarily all the backlinks.
There's a lot of things you can probably do. I mean, there's tools out there like Backlink Watch. You can put your URL in there and it'll kind of scrub through for free. But like my favorite tool with going back to links is going to probably end up being SEMrush or Majestic. Both those, or even Ahrefs, but they have a trial version available, I believe. But I don't know, Jim, if they will show you the. Well, I guess if there's a whole trial version available, full, they can see the actual link audit. But I think you have to actually be a paid subscriber to use that tool.
Yeah, most of them you do. So now you must remember that all of these tools won't always give you the most up to date. Well, you know, it's pretty impossible. But this is a local site, and like I said, I'm not seeing it dominating everything. But being local, I can tell you what's doing it straight away. They have got a link from the Calgary Home Inspectorates. They've got some links from the local staffers in Calgary, staff, you know, recruitment agents. They've got another one from another bathroom and renovation specialist. They are BBB. They've got links coming from their Better Business Bureau, the local Chamber of Commerce. You know, they've literally, you know, local SEO by the book. They've gone out and, you know, there's nothing that is kind of out of the ordinary here. SEMrush is telling me they've got roughly 20 odd links. I just want to see what other ones are picking up.
That they're actually increasing in traffic, it looks like, too. So
yeah, sure. As you
just kind of looking at
see what let's see what Moz reckons. There,
it looks like even November 2016 they started picking up a good amount of traffic, and then even to June they're doing pretty well. It's nice.
Yeah, Moz only has them down at 11 links, so yeah.
Well, that's where you're going to get your
You know,
you're always going to have a different tool.
Oh, they've got a nice one actually from a partner site, from a crafts group, like a men's craft group, crafts men's group in Calgary. Yeah, you know, these guys have stuck local. They got all their stuff local. It's all completely relevant to them. And of course they, you know, on the better directories, yeah, you know, they've done this by the book, and they don't have like, yeah, so it's not really about the backlinks as such. It's they could even tidy it up a little bit, like their titles, you know, make them more slightly appealing. They've really just literally, yeah. So they could certainly do far better, or make it more appealing. But yeah, they've done well. Local SEO it's not necessarily rocket science.
Well, plus, even I've noticed that the site is responsive. That's good. They've got the www working perfectly.
Oh yeah, these guys have done well. You know, they've won an award in 2016 by Home Stars for voted best in 2016 on Home Stars, which is like your home services. It's like, I suppose, like TripAdvisor, but this is for home services. That certainly did them very well. These guys have really gone out to you know, to prove themselves locally. Yeah, well done to them. Yeah.
I think I'd probably add one thing, which is probably end up, like I was looking under testimonials. I would probably go after, if you've got Google Plus reviews, link to that so that they can also see not only the testimonials you have on your page, but also going out to the search engine and seeing those as well. And then at the same time, you could probably pick up a couple of those local reviews from your clients as well. Looks like you guys got good work. A lot of good people saying a lot of good things.
Okay. I'm sorry about my ugly face being in the middle of the screen there. I don't know what's doing that. I'm trying to share my desktop, but it's not working. Right, let's move on from this one. Hopefully it'll clear itself. Jacob Punton asks a question titled "Doing Schema for a client in which or which offers venue hire. Would I want to be using product markup for this service, or would I just stick to local business and review markup? Thanks."
No. Okay. So I'm assuming it's a local business. So it's like, let's say it's a hotel, for example. Well, that hotel's local business structured data markup should be running site-wide, okay? Because that's the hotel, and I'm assuming it's in the footer and how to get hold of us and where we're located and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So when you get to their venue page, so whether it be for the wedding or whether it be, you know, for birthday, whatever they've got, so whether it's weddings or conferences or whatever the case may be, then you use it, you mark it up, either just mark it up individually as venue. If you wanted to mark the entire thing up, then you would mark it up with your local business, hotel, and then a department of, and then venue. But if you're running your site-wide, you know, for the business, you know, because let's say the whole site is the hotel, that might as well run site-wide, and then you can just add it specifically to that page. That venue, mark that venue up. Yeah, so it's entirely up. Yeah, you can do it kind of two ways, but essentially you would, when you're marking it up, you would say it's as part of, or it's at this location, or part of. So you can do it two ways. I'm probably rambling, but you can do it two ways, and it's entirely up to you which way you're doing it.
All right, I'm still trying to fix my camera here. All right, let's go to the next. This one from Patty Mantaloon. Have any of you checked out the Site Improve platform? I was picked by the sales team and only really interested by the extensive accessibility check component of it, which they gave me a demo of. But at over $3,000 a year for the leanest version of the app, no thanks. A very good user experience though, and would make bringing up a site to level AAA WCAG standards gain very impressive user experience. But yes, I could throw that 3K at something else for greater returns. So I'm looking for recommendations on other slick WCAG accessibility platforms and checkers.
So sorry, what is this? I'm trying to understand. Is this just like a W3C checker or what?
It does. It has a component that does an accessibility check. But the Site Improve platform, you called it. I haven't heard of Site Improve. But it's probably a set of tools to fix technical issues. Yeah.
Well, so for example, okay, I'm just looking at their plan and pricing because I don't. 'Cause, 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 Well, okay, so most of your things out there will do your kind of SEO. Your SEO. I see that they do. Okay, I don't know what. Okay, so this thing is like full on. I mean, this does. Okay, no, hang on. It also checks PDFs. But apart from that, then they've got the other bit, which is essentially just analytics on, you know, the users, your pages. Let me see what else. Yeah, so essentially on the SEO part of that, you could certainly use anything like, yeah, there's tons of them out there, but I specifically use SEMrush. You could also use other things like Screaming Frog, but I'm assuming that theirs is like SEMrush, which is nice and visually attractive and easy to read. I'm just trying to think.
More or less, I think what they're looking for is a tool for auditing, right? Tim, I think it's.
Yeah, but this manages. So essentially, look, what I can see is this is like SEMrush, which is your audit. Then looking at the plans, then it kind of builds in your analytics. Your standard Google Analytics, because it includes your page views, event tracking, campaign tracking. So essentially, that's just analytics, and obviously pulls it in, and then it just creates it into a nice visually dashboard. I don't know what an on-demand rescan is. They've obviously got some kind of plug-in, I suppose, that goes in. Reports. Yeah, so yeah, what the hell is DKK? How much is DKK a month? Oh, that's actually not. Oh, so their massive one, their massive intelligence one, which looks like at $839 a month, actually is only $125, which is, it's still quite expensive, but.
All right. Have you had enough of this one, Tim? Okay, let's move on to the next. This one from Alvaro Martinez. Should I do a press release for my e-commerce site? He said, hey guys, should I do a press release for my e-commerce site? If so, which keywords should I use? Thanks.
Okay, so let's take a step back. I'm assuming you've got something to shout about, because that's what a press release is for. The days of just chucking in one of those free press release things, they ended about 10 years ago. So essentially, there's nothing wrong with a press release, but for you to be asking what my keyword is, essentially is telling me that you don't actually have anything that's newsworthy to shout about. A press release, have you launched a new product? Because of course, if you've launched some mind-blowingly brilliant new product, then you're going to be talking about that product, which is full of natural language and keywords anyway. Yeah, I mean, if you've just moved offices, not really press release newsworthy material, just put that on your blog. Hey guys, we've just moved. If you've redecked the entire fleet of vans or something, yeah, great. That can be on your blog, but not really press release newsworthy. You could go down that road, maybe to more local press, like totally local press. What I'm trying to say to you is that stuff where you just chuck in a free press release, forget about it. It's completely just utterly inane. It's just, you know, no good. You can, if you really got something to shout about, you can actually use them, but you want to be very, very fine-tuned. It needs to go to the specific niche, and you know, none of this like worldwide stuff crap. It's just specific niche to the right person. I've obviously played around with those, and what I find always does my clients, you know, the results 10 times better, is literally if we've got a new product, or, you know, we're launching a new section of something, or whatever the case may be, then we literally download obviously in the market, we download all the journalists within the market space, who they are, do we want to, yes, no, yes, we put them in a list, we whittle it down on who exactly we want to target. We get a nice little package all together. We get, you know, if it's a product, they get a nice little product in the box. They get a whole load of water. If there's specific instructions about it, that goes in there with a hashtag, etc., nicely packaged up, and that gets posted to them. That arrives, all the instructions, hashtags, blah, 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 the press release in hard copy, as well as emailed to them after they've signed for the package. We know they've got it. Then the press release gets sent again to them in a PDF. That tends to guarantee, I would say, almost a 60% press coverage that they write about. Not you doing the crappy writing, that they write about, that they publish, that they link to you, that they, you know, mention you in online and in hard copy, etc. So and it normally works very, very well. So forget about the chuck the thing in into these free press release jobbies. I didn't even know they were still existed, but yeah, don't bother with that. If you've got something hyper local, reach out to your local guys, as such, your local newspapers. Phone up the journalist. 9 times out of 10, they've always got an editor or email. Phone them up, say, would you be interested in the story? And do it that way if it's hyper local. If it's national, some mind-blowing product, I would think a lot more in terms of reaching out generally to journalists with sample product, etc., etc. You're going to get a far better return than just some dodgy press release submitted, and then you you know, you boost it by paying another, I don't know, whatever they charge, $100 or something to boost it. So think about it. Think about who you want to target with it, what it is about, who you want, you know, do you want Do you want people attending? Do you want people looking at it? See what you want to achieve, and then think about how you're going to do it. But yeah.
Thank you, Tim. All right, I think we'll call that a wrap. Anyone want to jump in on it? Okay, let's go to the next. This one from Suja Das. What are your recommendations for website migration? My old domain has lots of backlinks and SEO value. I copied all of the content from my old domain to a new domain and did a 301 redirection to all pages. Please suggest your further recommendations. Thanks.
Ooh, further recommendations. Okay. So I would take a look at, oh gosh, where do I want to begin? Let's start with Search Console, because that's probably the easiest ones to see. You want to make sure you still have the old domain and the new domain in Search Console, mostly for the fact of, with the old domain, if you have any 404s, let's see, any 404s, anything that's broken, 500 errors, specifically things that are still going to the old domain that you might have missed, that should be going to the new domain. So you want to make sure you've captured everything from the old to the new. You want to keep the XML sitemaps as well. That's just kind of the way to make sure that everything, Google's recognizing, okay, everything's redirecting over to the new thing. You have the change of domain option as well, which you need to make sure you have those redirects in place for. But having that set up inside of Search Console to tell Google, hey, we've moved the domain from here and over here. That's the part, at least within Search Console. Outside of Search Console, this part's more up to you, of which you can start to reach out to kind of the more important sites and getting those links changed. If the migration came with a branding change, a logo change, then you want to make sure that across search results that show up for your brand name, for image searches that come up for your brand, and if there's any big video stuff too, social media accounts, all of that stuff is being changed, all of it's being properly updated. You have a Wikipedia page. Well, you need to kind of work within the proper guidelines of Wikipedia to get that updated. So there's things to think outside of the pure SEO, but also kind of the more searching for your brand. Does everything look consistent all the way through?
Thank you, Micah. Okay. All right, anybody else? Right, we're moving on now to Louis Dawson's question, number 11 on your run list. He's just bought an expired domain, but is not getting indexed. Uh-oh. Louis said, hello, I just bought an expired domain with a trust factor of 20, but my pages are not getting indexed. I've added my sitemap in Google Search Console, and before a site with lower metrics got indexed, but I can't seem to figure out what the problem is. I've checked for anchor text and if it has been, and also if it has been penalized, and it seems to be clean. Any ideas?
I'd probably suggest going back to Wayback Machine and kind of looking at what was actually on the pages. And it also depends on how long this website you bought it from, or you bought the website, but how many things have changed on that website. Domain, is it something new, fresh that you've already built, or is it still the same niche? But Wayback Machine, you can definitely see what was on those pages prior to you buying them. And also, you said it was clean. It's hard to tell without really doing a little more investigation. So I thought it was.
Yeah, that's where, while Search Console can be useful, it only gives you a sample set, and that's where a tool like even where like SEMrush can actually help push even further with the backlinks data. So you might be able to find quite a bit more on the data set to see, well, maybe it's just that Google's not providing a full data set, and happenstance, it's not providing the sample of what you need to find the URLs that have been potentially maybe causing some issue. The other side of it is maybe you've overlooked your robots.txt tag, and that may be completely preventing it from crawling. And maybe in the past, all the pages had these little no index tags. So Google can't recrawl the page. They know that there was a no index, and so those have been thrown out of the results permanently. So you need to check kind of some of the codes to make sure that that's being making sure that that's not preventing Google from actually recrawling and re-indexing.
Thank you, Micah and William. All right, still struggling to get this going. All right, let's go to the next. This one from Patty Mantaloons. He said, GT metrics, what are you talking about in the left? And this is not a question either. Okay. All right. Looks like we'll be finished before I fix this shared desktop. Chase Rayner said, how important is it to have an XML sitemap on a site these days? A friend had someone tell him that on the CMS he's using, he won't be able to add a sitemap.
Regardless of the CMS, you can always do a manual. And if he's got FTP access, you can actually drop that XML file right into the root, and then he's got that. As far as importance, I think it is partially important to have that on there. It helps the robot go through, but I've seen many times where there's no XML sitemap and it's done fine.
Yeah, I really think it depends on the site. Googlebot does pretty well at getting through a site without a sitemap. In fact, they do pretty well, and they normally, you know, if you're looking in your search console, they normally will show you pages you didn't even realize existed, you know, parameter queries and stuff like that, which inadvertently were created. Look, if this is a he's got 5 different types of services, a contact about us and a blog. Yeah, you know, in all honesty, if you can't add a sitemap to something like that, it's, you know, going to be the be all and end all. If he finds a page, or, you know, what he can always do is if he publishes a new article, or he updates a page or something like that, just go into your search console, do a fetch and render, and submit that page to Google. You really wanted to, but massive, you know, if it's an e-commerce site, it's got somewhere of 300-400 products upwards of, various bits and attached, and, you know, yeah, you probably want to try, like William said, to get a sitemap sorted for it.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else? All right, let's go to the next. This one from Kath Dawson Courtney, on replacing a #1 ranking page with another page. She said, I have a question about replacing a #1 ranking page with another page. Can it be done with confidence? My client's most popular landing page is an article about a product they supply. It's ranked well for a long time, 18 months, and constantly or consistently drives good traffic. They have written a better page. There's more info, including diagrams, and it is their preferred page to rank in place of the existing page. I don't think that linking from the old page to the new page is a good idea, as the user experience will be diminished. It's similar but unique content. The new page doesn't rank for these target phrases. It's not been optimized for the same phrases as yet. I'm concerned about using rel canonical from a ranking page to a non-ranking page, as I feel that is bound to lose ranking. My thoughts are that I should leave the old page and optimize the new page for the same phrases, and then wait to see if the new page can rank for that phrase. If it gets to page 1, then use canonical, but might still lose the #1 spot. I'd suggest editing the page to make improvements to the copy, but again, this could risk the #1 spot. Any thoughts would be appreciated.
Well, it's definitely possible to throw in a 3-1 redirect to the new page. That assuming you keep kind of the focus the same, that will in turn pretty well pass everything over. The use of a canonical is a bit more suggestive, and so it's meant to be where the two pages closely match. So if you can, try to use a 3-1 if you want to go down that route. In terms of actually full-on page swapping out without the type of redirect, that's a little bit harder, but it will depend on how low the search volume is as a total. So if the results are pretty long tail, then you have a much stronger likelihood, if nobody else is doing a pretty good job, is not doing a good job of directly addressing the point. So some of these things kind of depend on the search result, depends on a bit of the authority of the site. If you're now pushing heavily via internal links to the new page versus the old. Personally, I usually, if I'm trying to swap something out, I'm just, that to me it's a bit more of, if I can, a redirect, or I might, if something was like a news release and now I want to replace it with the main page that is about what the product, let's just say a product that launches, I'll usually throw in a link to the new page, and then maybe at some point I might throw in a redirect if it still isn't picking up after a certain amount of time. Yeah, I think kind of that's where I would at least start before diving quite a bit deeper and trying to find like the idiosyncrasies that might be coming out from a set search result.
Thank you, Micah. Anybody else on this one? All right, let's click this button. We've got a news item, but I think it was mentioned earlier on, SEMrush's report. It's a PDF report. You can get a link to it from the top of the community on SEO News on Google+, and also from the top of the community on SEO Questions on Facebook. I really recommend it. Everybody else I saw posting it today or talking about it, it was all positive. Anyway, let's move to the next. And it's that time again. Thank you for watching. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. We appreciate that very much. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again.